You're tuned into Gerard Said It.
Don't you forget it!
Bringing laughs, real talk, a little bit of chaos.
Here's your host,
So, who is Dr. Culver behind the titles?
Well, I love that question. Thank you so much for asking. I don't want to go all the way back, but I'll go back. So I am from a divorced family. My mom and my dad separated when I was 6. And so I split time between Oklahoma and North Carolina. I went to see my dad with my brother every summer and every Christmas. At Christmas for 2 weeks and summer for 2 months. And then in Oklahoma, I split time between Wyandotte, Oklahoma, which is a small rural town, and Tulsa, which is a larger metropolitan area. And so that was really my normal. And I really didn't know where I fit in the world. Because as you can imagine, moving around in an essence of one state or one school to this town to the next town, like I didn't know who I was, right? So I was really lost for a long time, and I leaned into my humor and my personality in the essence of I know that I can be funny, I can be outgoing, I'm pretty personable, but I didn't know who I was at the core. And so like a lot of us, I probably sought validation and affirmation from like job titles and things that I was chasing on the external. But what I didn't realize is as I did those things, I really wasn't changing the internal feeling that I was experiencing. And so I stayed rooted in those characteristics of outgoing, personable, those things to survive. And even though I earned my doctorate and became Dr. Culver, I think it was in the latter part of that journey that I really began to understand not this at the core. And so that's probably a really long answer to say I'm really outgoing, I'm personable, but I have a unique background that's changed and shaped a lot of the experiences that I've had.
I mean, it's molded you,
Exactly.
right? And probably part of that upbringing is what has, the journey that you're on now is what has started the kindness stuff that you do, I feel like.
No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, I'm an open book. So I will gladly say that the journey that I'm on now is definitely because of where I've been, but has led to what you suggested, the kindness work that I do now.
Yeah. So what moment pushed you the most towards all of your kindness research?
So I worked in a school as an assistant principal for several years, and I worked with a lady, and like, sorry listeners, I'm not trying to use profanity, but she was like Satan and Hitler, so we called her Shitler. Yes, she was, yes, Shitler. She was a piece of work. And so it was in that moment we lost 50 teachers out of 80. She was like, we have a teacher problem. I'm like, nah, we have a leadership problem. But
Did you say 50 out of 80?
50 out of 80 teachers. And she said, we have a teacher problem.
Oh.
And so that really led to my work of getting my doctorate. But that moment as well, that environment was so toxic that I hit the lowest point in my career. I had to call the employee assistance helpline. I had to seek out the therapy sessions. I had to go to all these meetings to figure out like, hey, I'm at the darkest point. Like I'm going to make some bad decisions here. And so I need some help. And I wasn't always proud of that. And it's probably only been the last couple of years that I've talked about it. And I don't ever talk about it for sympathy. It truly is just for solidarity because maybe you or someone who's listening has navigated that. And we shouldn't be ashamed that we're asking for help. We're looking for ways to survive. And so that moment of therapy and support really led me to understand what kindness meant to myself. And so ever since then, I've tried to walk a life of kindness. Ironically, someone said I walked it in high school. That's not the experience I remember, so I appreciate that. But I really try to live that out and help people understand what kindness can do. And so that's why I'm on a mission to make kindness go viral.
I love that. And so how did Orange Sparrow and drchrisculver.com, how did those come to life?
So I was working at a district office position as an administrator, and I was in the culture shifted to that same toxic space. And this was several years later. And I was thinking, I can't go down that road again. I've already done this before. I know what the end result looks like. I just can't do that. And so I didn't know what the answer was. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that I didn't want to keep doing that. And so I had given my resignation 6 months prior to the end of my contract. And during those 6 months, I really did a lot of soul searching and gut checking and is this what I want to do, right? And so when July 1 hit and I didn't land another job or no other doors opened, it was, okay, you have this idea to spread kindness, to help people understand what this generation is. And so orange is my favorite color, and a sparrow teaches us to be bold and audacious in our endeavors. And I feel like I was really being pushed to be bold, to lean into this business concept that I was developing while we were flying as a bird, if you will. And it's just kind of been a journey from there. And that launched 2 years ago.
How did you realize this was purpose and not just a passion you had?
Ooh, that's a deep question. I feel like the moment that I started to own my story, like okay, so I was on a podcast right out of leaving the district office. And I remember this guy asking me my confidence level. And I think coming out of that space, I remember saying like I was an 8. And he was like, what? I'm a solid 10. And I was like, I've never heard someone, especially in the line of work that I did, say that, right? So I really processed that. And several months later, it came back to me, and I thought about it, and I was like, I am a solid 9 or a 10 in this work. And what I realized is when I was more authentic and I was more vulnerable and I told people my story, instead of having walls up and shields up and trying to make sure everything was picture perfect, I realized that so many people are navigating walks of life that we don't understand, or we all carry invisible backpacks that I say that we don't know that are in, that we can necessarily see. And so when people would come up to me after a talk or a workshop or call me or send a DM or a text message and like just pour it out there, say how I helped them or I changed their perspective of their life, like that meant everything to me. And so I've always walked with the message of, even if it's helping one person, that's what it's all about, because we know the ripple is from there, right? They tell 3 people, they tell 3 more, then it continues and continues. And so it's in those moments of flying the plane, if you will, as I'm building it, going out there and speaking and sharing stuff. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to land. And it's in those really vulnerable moments that I realized this wasn't just like a feel-good idea, but it really was helping people. And I think it was a purpose of trying to communicate a message that kindness isn't weakness. It's not one more thing. It's the thing that changes everything.
What part of your work now brings you the most joy? Kind of the same thing when you do make that impact on, even if it's just one person?
Yeah, I think the unique spaces that I've been invited into, like I clearly started out in schools because that was my background. But in the time that I've been doing this, it's expanded to nonprofits, Fortune 500 companies, like larger companies here. Like it's been really cool to do different things outside of education. And so I think, like as you suggested, it's even that one person. I think about hearing the unique stories that people share with me. I remember when I was in Florida, some lady who had been working in an organization for, I think she was 70. So she had been working for 50 years in that organization. And she's like, you still gave me hope. And after all these years, I was like, you don't know what that means to me. I'm like, you've been doing this longer than I've been alive. So it's in those small moments that probably won't mean anything to anybody, but they mean a lot to me.
What unseen win are you most proud of?
I think, to be honest, it's just the courage to walk away. I knew that I was going to be a teacher since I was a little kid. I had my 10th birthday party in Office Depot. So nobody can tell me I don't love a good school supply. Like I knew like that was my path, right? And so when you love the work so much, but the culture or the space is too toxic for you, choosing yourself is a form of kindness. And I think that's what I had to realize. And I didn't celebrate that. And I walked, it was some darkness of healing and figuring out what is happening. And I think in those moments, I was celebrating wins that I didn't share with other people. And it was really unseen, but I was healing myself, and I celebrate that.
So do you feel like you have healed a lot just from your journey the last 2 years?
Absolutely. I think not only doing the work that I'm doing with kindness and the generational stuff, but I had the opportunity to teach human development at the university. And as I started to teach the class, I was reading the text and I was like, whoa, like this is this is presenting a healthy childhood. My childhood didn't look like this. And so it was in these moments I was able to make connections. And to be honest, I would talk to my mom about it. She's like, I don't want to hear about your damn research. Like and my parents did the best they could do. Like I'm not dogging my parents. But if you look at an adverse child experience assessment, like I said, it's like a 10-question assessment, and it says if you answer yes or 4 or more, you may have had a traumatic childhood. Well, like mine's a 9, right? So I don't say that for any other reason. Like it led to a lot of the work that I'm doing.
What does success mean to you today?
I think for a long time, as I kind of alluded to, I thought it was titles and money and this and that and recognition, all that. And it's not. To me, it's not. It might be to somebody else, and that's okay. To me, it really is just a long-term joy, and joy looks different every day. I think internal peace and grace also is really important. But to me, it's about being 1% better today than I was yesterday and 1% better tomorrow than I was today. And if that's helping one person or two people, or whatever it may be, that's what success looks like. You can't put a monetary value or you can't quantify what the impact looks like when you're telling stories or you're sharing experiences or hearing from people and doing the key things that we're wired as humans for empathy and for kindness and for love and light. And so those are the attributes that I want to celebrate and consider success. And I think the other pieces will come with that.
How has love and partnership strengthened your work?
Whew. Well, I've had to have some love and partnership support along the way, right? It was definitely a family decision. I went to my partner when I was kind of in this distress. I mean, he was there in 2019 when I was at the lowest point, going to therapy, doing all that, and it was a great support system. And I think about in 2023 when I said, this is the same feeling, like, what are we going to do? Like, I'm struggling. And it was in that conversation, he's like, just walk away. Like, just walk away. Like, whatever's meant to be will open up. And so from there, it's been a support. I've had wild ideas of books and children's books and podcasts and everything. He's like, yeah, go do it, go do it, go do it. So, but in essence too, he's running for office and I'm like, yeah, go do it. So I think that's a great support system, but it's also challenged the way I lead. It challenges the way I think, challenges the way maybe I coach or present things, because we do need support from one another. I think we forget in such a fast moving, isolated world that we want to be alone. But if you think back to our hunter and gatherer days, we were all wired to be together and to work together. And so it just helps us reminder that collaboration is stronger, love is stronger, support makes us stronger. And so it's not just here in the essence of feeling it from him, but also trying to take what it gives me and put out into other people as well.
Support each other like 100%. And I think that is fantastic. And it makes both of you stronger at the end of the day, to have the support that y'all have for each other.
Yeah, and it's not easy. Like, I'm not sitting here and making it sound like it is rainbows and butterflies. No, like there are some moments like we do not like one another, right? Like that's
Right.
just a reality of relationships. But going back to like, I think the original intent of the love part, right? Like that's where
Yeah.
you have to say, like, even through those hardships, like we're gonna figure it out. But
Yep. What is the hardest part of managing everything that you have going on? Because you are busy. You are busy.
what do you always say? Booked, busy, and blessed.
Busy, booked, and blessed. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. The triple B. For me, it's time management. Everything is calendared, and I am such a planner, and I'm super OCD. So like prior to even jumping on this conversation with you, I was thinking about next week, right? So I was mapping out all the things I needed to do today, tomorrow, and Sunday to make sure that I was prepared for next week. And so a lot of my social media content, I don't know that I'm maybe embarrassed to say it, but I batch it. So like I'll record one day for 10 hours and then it's all made for the whole month, right? Like those are just small shifts that I make, but it's about being intentional in order to show up, because it can get easy to not want to do things. And I also told my partner this the other day, I said, I know why stay-at-home moms are stressed out. I can't imagine, like, it's so much with all them kids running around, all the expectations or responsibility.
Have you experienced any burnout with your kindness research and your kindness work that you're doing?
Absolutely. December was rough. I think in the months that I had intentionally blocked off December to finish up a couple projects. I wrote a book at the end of 2025, and so that launches this year. And so I had intentionally blocked off weeks to prepare and do these things, right? But in those moments too, I wasn't having a lot of connection. I wasn't out doing the things that I enjoy doing. And so I didn't realize it, like in the sense of like burnout or depression or an angst or whatever. But when I reflect back, because it didn't look like what I thought it was supposed to look like, I know there was some burnout or some feeling of difference in December. But I think it was just because of lack of connection or lack of being on the road or being out with people and connecting. And so I'm grateful for individuals who connect through social media and through my phone, all those aspects, right? But like in the essence of the work, I was like, maybe this is not it. But you don't see the immediate impact always. You don't see the immediate results of the work you're doing. So it can be a mind fudge-a-doodle for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, and I don't know if you're the same way, but like I'm my own worst enemy, right? Like my head, if something happens, I'm like, it's terrible. It's all going to fall apart. Like, yes. Right.
The world Paris is burning.
Yes. Yes.
How do you protect your energy? because you just always seem so upbeat and positive. So how do you protect that?
For a long time, I was a yes person. Like if you would text me or call me or beat me, send me a pigeon, smoke signal, whatever, I was like, yep, we're on our way. Like, let's go. Right. Like we were always there. And what I realized is a lot of times when I would leave those spaces, I was feeling depleted or less joy than I felt when I went. And so like I just kept pushing harder and doing harder, more time with them, like all this stuff. And I think in the latter part of the journey of leaving the district and kind of realizing that a lot of my connections were related to work and my title with work or my association with work, that I had to process that some people are for a season and some people are for a lifetime. And so I really leaned into the concept, what I call people who bring you light or people who are energy vampires. And so if you were draining my energy or making me feel like gross, like cringe, as you said a second ago, I was cutting those ties. Like I still can be your friend. I'll probably hang out with you once in a while, but like I'm not going to exert all the effort to do all the things because it doesn't just feel good. But if you were bringing love and light and joy and all that, I wanted to be around you. But in that time, it also gave me more time for myself to do things that I wanted to do. And I found power in writing and journaling and walking and meditate, like all those things that were trying to be feel good things to me. And I know it can sound daunting when you list those things. I'm talking about like 30 seconds of activities here, 60 seconds, not like
Right.
minutes and minutes and minutes. And so that really allows me to protect my energy, allow me to be around people who are contagious with positivity. Like I think you got to look on the sunny side of life, or otherwise it can get really, really bad.
The glass is half full.
Yes, every day, every day.
Every day, every day. What sacrifices have you made that have surprised you the most to get all of this going?
I think the sacrifice of time, and I think the sacrifice of probably seeing people too. Like there's been a lot of times my family's reached out, especially getting my doctorate and even afterwards now. I apply like this work strategy, like, well, it's like getting another doctorate, right? Like you're just kind of working. But I grew up that way on the farm. So my family understands that. But I think you lose time with family. I also think just time, like when you own a business or you're an entrepreneur or you're owning a podcast or you're writing a book, whatever it is, you lose time. And so you're thinking about, it's always on, it never stops, right? You're having to make those things happen. So I think those are some of the biggest sacrifices. And probably I don't think I've sacrificed an opportunity or sacrificed an experience, right? Probably it's been just personal things that I've given, like maybe even my health, right? Like some of those things that we don't think
Yeah.
that are important, that really are, and that can help us.
Yep. I always say time is the biggest thief,
Yes, yes.
you know?
And I know we all get 24 hours in a day and we can do whatever we want. Like it's still hard to like manage time. I'm like, if we just had more time.
Yep. If we just had one more minute, just one
That's
more
right.
minute. Yeah. So have you ever wanted to quit and just be like, I'm just done with this. This is just too much.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
That surprised me. I didn't think you were going to say that.
Yes. There have been days I'm just like, screw it. Like it's not worth it. Like it's too hard. People don't get it. I've had people, there are people who have said a lot of like things about me, right? Like there have been some naysayers out there. There have been some blogs, some fake blogs out there have said some things, and that's been hard to process. And it's in those moments, like it's the wildest thing. So it's like a serendipitous moment in the same time. So this happened in August of 25, in March of 24. So in those moments, I was like, forget it. Like I'm done. Like I don't care. Like blah, 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 right? But in the same breath, those internal thoughts were racing through my mind. A colleague that I had, never, like years hadn't talked to, called out of nowhere. I was like, I'm just checking on you. I want to make sure you're doing all right. Right. And it's like, well, you left this one word, like they saw something, made me think of them. And so you just never know your presence. And so then they get me right back on track. But to say, no, I've never thought about throwing in the towel and saying, screw kindness. I don't care about it. Let's all be mean and hateful. Like, yeah, they're like, I'm human. Right. Like, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's not healthy. You don't burn fire with fire. You gotta get some water out there. So yeah, it's a challenge. And I think that, so many people, and I don't know this if it's what I'm seeing is a lot of people are looking for quick fixes, and a lot of the things that with kindness is it's intentional actions, and so it's not a quick fix. Yeah, like you have to work on like a muscle, right? You have to train your brain and train your choices, and I think that can be frustrating just with humans, period, to help them understand.
Yeah. So how do you navigate public opinion and politics? Because like you said earlier, your partner is running for an elected position. So how do you navigate that?
Well, I think it coincides with the last question too. Like those anti haters that are out there have blasted us for a while, right? Like, and none of it's true. That's what I think I need to clarify. None of it's true. Like just people slandering to slander. And I think in those moments it caused me to really have tough skin. Like I've faced bullying as a kid. I was picked on. I mean, made fun of. Like all the things you can think of in middle school and high school. And again, my parents loved me with all the love they have, but there was some abuse at home verbally and mentally with just some things that were said. And so I had navigated a lot of this before. And I think now when I look at public opinion, if you I process it, right? I hear it, I appreciate it, but I think I don't internalize it like I did before. And I have strategies that I can use. But as a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, like you don't have that stuff. Like you're figuring out
No.
life. You're trying to swim and like just figure out what is this thing, right?
Isn't it weird? I mean, because I'm the same way. I had verbal abuse and different things growing up, and isn't it weird how in that moment you just think it's normal?
Yes.
It's not for years that you finally come to a realization or therapy, and you're like, holy shit. You know,
Yeah.
it's so
That's like in
weird.
that when I was teaching that class, that's what it was. Like it was that holy shit moment that you just said. And that's what I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, my childhood of being yelled at and this and that, like that's not normal? Like you're not supposed to do those things to kids? Oh,
Right.
okay, I got it. But I think it led to the like you suggested at the beginning of the show, like I think it led to a lot of the work that I do today, and I'm grateful it's part of my story. And I think for a long time I was ashamed of it, and now I lean into it because, like you just openly and vulnerably shared, you navigated it too, and there's
Yeah.
so many of us, that people who are listening probably did as well, and it's not the norm, and we shouldn't have, but now we're stronger because of it.
What season of all of this changed you the most?
I think the moment that I got opportunities outside of education changed me completely. I think there are two seasons that come to mind. One was this summer. We lost my in-laws. My Kelly lost his grandparents within 3 days,
Oh, both of
and
them?
yes, so his grandmother passed away on May 27th, and then 3 days later, his grandfather passed away, and they raised him. So the
That's
summer
like
was
broken
really
heart syndrome or something.
exactly that, exactly that. And so the summer was really tumultuous. It was really hard, really hard. And so I found TikTok in that essence right there, in that time, and I became a live host, and it really supplemented my income that I had lost for June and July. I mean, it was a blessing that I didn't know, and that was really cool because what I realized was this kindness thing was taking off, right? Kindness was helping people in an essence. And I think the other, like I said earlier, getting to work in a non-educational space, like that was another like season of just like I love helping people, not just giving strategies and unpacking standards and things that I had done as an administrator, but I think stepping into this work of help and love and light and kindness, like I don't know, it was really cool. And it took a long time to get there. And I don't know, did I ever tell you the story about when I burned the leaves? Yeah, so I had written on bay leaves like all
Bay
these
leaves.
different
It was bay
words.
leaves.
Yes. And I had written all these words. I was going to burn it, like it's not like, and you let it go, right? Like then you let it go.
Hmm.
Well, I had burned the bay leaves, and this is before I started the kindness tour. This is before Doctor Kindness anything. And the only words that had landed left on the bay leaves that didn't burn were doctor and kindness. And I was like, what in the world? And so I saved those leaves. They're still in my kitchen. And now all these years later, I still think about. It was just 2 years ago, year ago, 2 years ago, somewhere in there. But I still have those leaves, and I still think about it.
What boundaries have you set up for yourself and for your partner that are non-negotiable through all of this, through the public opinion, through you know being on platforms and all of that? What is non-negotiable for your boundaries?
I We have boundaries of like time, right? So like making sure that there's essence of um, when we're going to talk about this and when we're not. Because to be honest, like sometimes talking about the campaign all the time is like exhausting, just exhausting, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same if you're talking about this thing as well. We are open and people know that we are together. We're vulnerable about those things. And I'm pretty personal, but I don't always do that in a public forum, like on social platforms. I'm more likely to have that as a DM or like something private where I can help that person. But I always
Yeah.
appreciate them reaching out through whatever channel may be. But I think boundaries you have to, like, I had to establish those, right? Like, I knew I wasn't going to be on all day long. I wasn't going to do all this. But I think the same for him in regards to just conversations related to it. Because as a business owner or a campaign person, it never stops. So, like, you might get an email at 10 p.m. and because you're like, oh, it could be the next break where I'm going to be Mariah Carey, right? Let me respond back and get this thing. And it's like, no, I
Yeah.
need to have a boundary for peace and presence.
So, what is one thing that you and Kelly do together to stay grounded? Do you have something like that you would want to share?
Yeah, so we do a couple things. So one thing in the morning, we try to get up and have coffee together as we're like getting the day started. So sometimes it's on the couch or sometimes it's in bed. Like it just kind of depends. And it's not consistent. Like we try, right, every day. And sometimes like out of a week, we might make it 3 or 4 days. And so we celebrate that. When it's warmer, we definitely walk and we have a spot in on our walking path that has a bench. And we find each of us share 5 things we're grateful for, like just to get on our walk back. So it helps us stay grounded in the day. And then just moments of like that when we have anxiety or stress, like we try to affirm the other person, but then also like, hey, let's come back to the truth, right? These things can be true. And I think that just helps us stay grounded as well.
How has public leadership shaped your future?
Well, I think it's opened my eyes. I think it's opened my eyes to I always say like I want to help, heal, lead, and serve, and I don't know what that looks like. I really don't. Everyone's like, "What do you want to do 10 years from now, 5 years from now?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like I know I want to help, I want to heal people, I want to serve, and I want to lead. I don't know what any of those things look like, and so I'm on a yes journey if it feels right. And so really taking time to figure out internally and doing the gut check and trusting the gut, and been saying no to things that don't make sense to people, but it makes sense to me. And I think that's the hardest part of being a human, is because we have expectations set on us by other people. And when we do those things, so I don't know what it looks like for public service or public leadership, but I do know it's made me more emotionally sound, like emotionally intelligent, more emotionally sound, and hopefully get to use the experience to, I don't know, change the world. That's what it's all about, trying to make this place a little bit kinder every single day.
Conversations are happening behind the scenes. Like, what's next for you? What's next for Dr. Chris Culver, Orange Sparrow? What's
All the
next?
things. Yes. Well, I am launching a podcast in the next couple of weeks. It's Science of Kindness with Dr. Chris Culver. I also have a children's book coming out that Kelly and I wrote together. Ollie the Orange Sparrow and Azulito the Blue Bee, who tell the story of belonging. And we write a note to future kiddos to know, hey, you belong just as you are. Keep being you. I also wrote a book called Be the Light that comes out this year. And so hoping to give people some love and light and those things. So building courses with those things, workbooks with those things, and hoping to just get all the word out there of helping people however they may look.
And so where can people find this information? Where can they see what's next for you?
Absolutely. I love the space to share that. So thank you. It's www.drchrisculver.com for the website. The kids book and all that related information will be on www.orangesparrow.org. And I'm on all social media channels at Dr. Chris Culver. Probably a bright floral jacket and an orange background. That's me.
How do you see your work evolving? I mean, because you have so many things coming just in this year that you worked countless hours on last year.
I appreciate that.
So pat on the back, because you've got some shit. I mean, you've got some stuff that's about to hit,
The shit is coming. That's right.
The shit's about to hit the fan. No, I'm just kidding.
Shit is coming.
But
Yeah.
you have so much that's about to come out. And some of that I have actually, gotten to witness. And I just think that it's going to be the showstopper. Some of this stuff is just things that people need, and they may not even know that they need it, but I just think it's great. I think everything that you have coming out is great.
Thank you. That means a lot. I really appreciate your kind words and your affirmation. And you got to see a little bit behind the curtain, if you will. And I appreciate the early preview and the feedback on that. Interestingly enough, in the last week, someone asked me if I'd ever had the opportunity to present to a legislative forum around some of this stuff to help educate legislators. I smiled and was very intentional in my response and shared that's not been a space that's been opened up to me yet, but would be definitely open to exploring what that could look like. And so when I think about What the future could hold, I'm not sure. But as I said, I'm open to things, saying yes to things that feel right and things that are intentionally going to help make a difference. And so if that means Dr. Culver goes public office, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like, but it'll be interesting to see how this evolves.
You heard it first. All right. Do you have any advice for the LGBTQ community on like entrepreneurs? What is your advice to them?
Be you. Be you. Lean into your authenticity. Lean into your authenticity, and don't let fear, rhetoric, negativity, like don't let any of that stuff stop you from believing and chasing your dreams. Get out there and do it. I know that we say this in the TikTok world, and I've really applied it to my own life, that it may not be your family or friends that you text or your friends in real life that are going to be your biggest cheerleaders, but there are folks out there who believe in you, who are going to help you, who are rooting you on. Lean into those people. Those are the light carriers that you need to walk with. But if whatever your dream is to be an entrepreneur or social media star, podcast host, whatever you want to do, like just do it. Just take the first action and don't stop, even if people don't believe in you along the way, because what's going to happen is those folks eventually are going to come back and say, "Ooh, how did you do it? Like, I need your help," right?
Yeah.
And those are fun, serendipitous moments, but believe in yourself. Don't ever stop and don't ever negate who you are, and lean into your story, because there's young folks who are watching us as we watched older LGBTQ people in our respective communities or in spaces. They're watching us and watching what's possible. So keep shattering those glass ceilings. Be proud of who you are, and just do the damn thing. I don't know. I don't want anyone to ever not do it.
Right. Just do it. And I always say that too. Like, there's no better time than right now to be who you want to be, you know?
Yeah. Like I think about how many people stop their own selves from not doing it. So I like the way you said it, like, just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And learn from it. If it's bad, you learn from it. If it's
Yes.
good, you celebrate it, you know?
Yes.
How can people practice real kindness? Like, what would be the first thing that someone could do to start reprogramming their brain for kindness?
Absolutely. So the first thing that comes to mind is like, have grace with yourself, right? As you're going through life, have grace. But one thing that I started in 2025 that is much harder than what it seems is I stopped listening to my radio in the car. Like, I totally turned that thing off and I set in silence. And people often are like, what? And I'm like, you set in the car with silence with your thoughts for a while, you're going to figure out how your brain really is operating, right? Like, what's going on. The other piece is I challenge people to name 3 good things right now, especially in stressful moments. Like, right, there's always something good in every single day, and it may not be a great day, but you can find those good or great things every single day. And remember to have grace with yourself that you are something great, right? We forget that it's easy to give external kindness and validation, but the same kindness that we give out, we give inward. And when someone receives kindness or sees kindness or experiences kindness, they're 75% more likely to be kind to somebody else. And so it literally is the ripple. In my workshop, I have an activity where the brain lights up, and what it shows is self-compassion is the number one thing that we can do to change our experience and other people's experience as well. So in stressful situations, in moments of heat, I always say pause for 6 seconds, count to 6, think of your 6 favorite ice cream flavors, any of those things, just to recenter yourself, wiggle your toes before you respond, because sometimes we're able to ask ourselves, is what I'm about to say going to be helpful or hurtful, right? And so it really allows us in that choice. Now, I will be vulnerable. I am a natural kerosene. Get the lighter out, blow the bitch up, right? Like, that is my natural response. Not healthy. I've had to work through that. So yes, it is easy to sit here and say, count to 6 and 1, 2, 3. But I know in the moment you're like, I'm taking this bitch down, right? And so it's that shift in those moments. The other piece is that I always say, just move your body. If you can take 60 seconds just to quiet your mind and walk in a circle, like, that's helpful. If you can do 20-minute walk, that's even better. But any of these things are not mind-blowing, but they help you have more compassion and clear your mind to start that reset as you suggested.
And what's one action that listeners could take this week and run with it? If someone just had time to do one thing, what would you suggest it be?
I would suggest you express gratitude to someone that helped, impacted, or changed your life. Send them a text message, write them a note, send the email, leave the thing on the counter, whatever it may be, because here's the reality. 99% of the time you're going to get something back. saying, I'm grateful for you too for X, Y, and Z. And those will begin to release the feel good chemicals into our body. So we know what that looks like rather than the cortisol from stress or any of those other negative chemicals. And then I encourage you to set with that, set with what they said about you and begin to believe in yourself. And I know you asked for one, but I'm gonna give you two. The other one is, there's power in writing affirmations about yourself. The research suggests to write 18 affirmations about yourself. Number 1 through 10 will come pretty naturally and quickly. 11 through 18, you're going to have to dig down deep and be really vulnerable with yourself and be thinking about what value do I bring to this space or to the world. So if you've never written an affirmation, it starts with I am followed by a positive word. So I encourage you to set a timer for 60 seconds, 120 seconds, and write as many affirmations as you can. And remember that you do add value to this world. You're exactly what this world needs, and we're grateful you're here.
I love that.
Thank you.
So it would be 18 affirmations over 60 or 120 seconds.
Yes,
Start
that's
with
it.
I am.
Yeah,
Everybody can do that. That's easy, y'all.
that's easy.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah.
All right, so I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Biggest kindness myth.
That it's about being nice.
It's about being nice. One habit that keeps you sane.
I think journaling and finding gratitude.
A moment that reminded you why this matters most.
When a lady shared the personal story of her son being bullied and making a bad decision, but how she's now been an advocate for people like me, and she's heard the. I mean, it's just a moving experience, and she really resonated with the message.
If you had a billboard, what would it say?
Dr. Kindness.
I love it. All right, y'all. This was Dr. Kindness, and like you said, you can find him at Dr. Chris Culver on all social media platforms. He did share his links, and we'll make sure to tag those in the episode as well. Thank you so much for coming and talking to me. And I hope if one person hears this and we change one person's life, or we make one person smile today, or feel heard, that you know what, we've done something good. You guys didn't think you were going to get off without getting some inbox confessionals, did you? Because, baby, this week, that inbox been staying full. Do you hear me? Confessional number 1. I tell my husband I'm too tired for sex, but I stay up until 2 a.m. watching TikTok thirst traps. Oh, so you're not tired. You're selective. Energy conversion is real, sweetie. Also, TikTok has ruined more marriages than a side piece ever could. Confessional number 2. I fake my personality at work and then come home and rot in silence. So it's like corporate you versus goblin you. The HR version deserves a medal, but the home version deserves no eye contact and snacks. I think we can all relate to that. Confessional number 3. Y'all, this one I had to read twice, and I'm not kidding. Confessional number 3. I hooked up with someone who moaned their own name. Baby, that's not confidence. Do not pass go. Immediate jail. Abort mission. Baby, run. Confessional number 4. I stalked my ex's new partner and I'm low-key offended they downgraded. As you should be. Because if they fumbled you and then said, oh, let me aim lower, that's character assassination. But baby, you won the breakup. Move along. Confessional number 5. I act grown online, but in real life, I cry if my order's wrong. So you post about protecting your peace, and then you're whispering in the background, I'm crying over mild sauce being all over my burrito. Maybe that's wild behavior. But also, same. I can relate. Confessional number 6. I'm married, but sometimes I miss being toxic just for the plot. Not for the plot. Peace is healthy, but chaos is entertaining. That's why we have reality TV, sweetie. Stay your ass at home. Confessional number 7. I've reread the same spicy chapter so many times my Kindle suggested therapy. Your Kindle suggested therapy. Amazon said, are you okay? Question mark. Look, girl, at this point, your Kindle knows your personality and you should probably send it a Christmas card. I'm just saying. Jared said it, don't you forget it. Listen, I hope you guys took something away from this episode with Dr. Christopher Culver, also known as Dr. Kindness. Even if it's just some of the simple exercises he gives you to help reprogram your brain. He's got great content. You can look up all of his information, and you can book him at www.drchrisculver.com.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Gerard Said It. Like, share, follow the show. You already know it. Stream the pod everywhere: Apple, Spotify, TikTok, YouTube. At Gerard Said It. Come on, stop by. Stop by. Got a question, a confession? Send that email in. GerardSaid@gmail.com. Let the tea begin. Until next time. Gerard Said It. Lean in, don't you miss it.